The policeman's hand was shaking as he handed me the phone. On the screen was my face, plastered across every news channel in Nigeria. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, all of them. The headline made my stomach drop. Nigerian girl's simple act of kindness sparks national controversy. Billionaire's son makes shocking declaration. I couldn't breathe. Just yesterday, I was nobody. Adana from Ajegunle, the girl who sold pure water in traffic, the girl whose biggest worry was making rent. Now the entire country was talking about me. And I had no idea if my life was about to get better or completely destroyed. Let me tell you how it started. How one plate of rice changed everything. Adana, you're late again. Mrs. Okonkwo's voice cut through the evening air like a machete. I was running, my slippers slapping against the dusty road, my bag bouncing against my hip. The sun was setting over Lagos, painting the sky orange and purple, but I didn't have time to enjoy it. "I'm sorry, Ma," I called out, rushing past her kiosk. "Traffic was terrible." She sucked her teeth. "Traffic is always terrible. That's Lagos. No excuses." I didn't stop to argue. I was already 30 minutes late getting home, and I still had to cook dinner. My stomach was growling so loud I was sure the whole street could hear it. My room, if you could call it that, was a small space I rented in a compound with 15 other people. One room, one mattress on the floor, one small stove. But it was mine, and I paid for it with my own money. I worked at a call center in Victoria Island during the day, taking angry calls from customers who thought I personally designed their network problems. Then, 3 evenings a week, I sold pure water in traffic on my way home. Some days I made an extra 1,000 naira, some days nothing. Today was a nothing day. I dropped my bag and pulled out the small pot of rice I'd cooked that morning. It wasn't much, just white rice with a tiny bit of stew that had more tomatoes than anything else. No meat. I hadn't eaten meat in 3 weeks. I was about to dig in when I heard it. That cough. It came from outside near the gutter where the old man always sat. Papa Ejike, people called him. Nobody knew his real name. He'd been there for as long as I could remember. Just an old man in tattered clothes, sitting on a piece of cardboard, coughing and begging. Most people ignored him. Some people insulted him, told him to get a job, called him lazy. I looked at my rice. My stomach growled again. Then I looked at the window where I could see a shadow. "Jesus," I muttered. "Why do you always do this to me?" I divided the rice into 2 portions. Mine was smaller. I put it in a plastic container and walked outside. "Papa Ejike?" He looked up. His eyes were cloudy, his face wrinkled like old leather. He smiled, showing gaps where teeth used to be. "Adana, my daughter, you don't come again. I brought you food, Papa." His eyes filled with tears, actual tears, like I'd given him 1,000,000 naira instead of half a cup of rice. "God bless you, my pikin. God go reward you." I forced a smile. "Just eat, Papa. It's not much. E plenty for me, e plenty well. I watched him eat like it was the best meal he'd ever had. My chest felt tight. Here I was, thinking I was suffering. But this man had nothing. I went back inside and ate my portion slowly, trying to make it last. That became our routine. "Adana, you're losing weight." My co-worker Blessing was staring at me across our desks. The call center was quiet for once, just the hum of computers and the occasional ring. "I'm fine," I said. "You're not fine. When last did you eat proper food? Not gari, not bread, real food." I shrugged. Money is tight. Money is tight for all of us, but you look like you're starving yourself. What's going on? I couldn't tell her. She'd think I was crazy. Sharing my food with a beggar when I could barely feed myself. Nobody would understand. But the truth was, I couldn't stop. Every evening when I saw Papa Ejike sitting there, something in me just gave. Maybe it was because I remembered when my own father died and we had nothing. Maybe it was because he reminded me of my grandfather. Maybe I was just stupid. I'm fine, Blessing, really. She shook her head. You're too good for this wicked world, you hear me? People will take advantage of you. Maybe she was right. But when I got home that evening and saw Papa Ejike's face light up as I handed him food, I knew I couldn't stop, even if it killed me. I was getting weaker. I could feel it. My clothes were hanging off me like I was wearing my father's shirt. My supervisor had pulled me aside twice to ask if I was okay. Even the aggressive driver who always shouted at me in traffic asked if I was sick. But I kept going. Rice and beans for Papa Ejike. Gari for me. Jollof rice for Papa Ejike. Bread for me. Sometimes I wondered if God was testing me. Sometimes I wondered if I was just foolish. Then one Thursday evening, everything changed. I was walking home later than usual. The call center had been brutal. Back-to-back calls, angry customers, my manager breathing down my neck about targets. I was exhausted, hungry, my head was pounding. I'd managed to buy some rice from Mama Chick's canteen. The portions were smaller now because prices had gone up, but I bought 2 plates, one for me, one for Papa Ejike. As I turned the corner to our street, I saw something that made me stop. There was a car parked near Papa Ejike. Not just any car, a black Range Rover with tinted windows. In Ajegunle, a Range Rover. And standing next to Papa Ejike was a young man in an expensive shirt and jeans. He was tall, light-skinned, with the kind of face you see in movies. He was crouched down, talking to Papa Ejike. I froze. Rich people didn't come to Ajegunle unless they were lost or buying drugs. And they definitely didn't crouch in the dirt to talk to beggars. I walked closer slowly, clutching my rice. Papa Ejike? I called out. Both men turned to look at me. The young man's eyes widened. He stood up quickly, brushing dust off his jeans. You're Adana, he said. It wasn't a question. He said my name like he knew me. My heart started beating fast. How do you know my name? Papa Ejike was crying. Full on crying, tears running down his face. My daughter, he said, his voice shaking. This is, the young man stepped forward. My name is Chukwuemeka Obi. This man, he pointed at Papa Ejike. This man is my father. The rice container slipped from my hands. Everything went crazy after that. Chukwuemeka, Emeka, he told me to call him, started talking fast. His words were tumbling out like he'd been holding them in for too long. My father has dementia, he said. He disappeared 6 months ago. We've been searching everywhere. Police, radio announcements, everything. We thought he was dead. I couldn't speak. I just stared at Papa Ejike. No, Mr. Obi, who was still crying. How did you find him? I finally asked. Emeka pulled out his phone. I've been driving through different areas every week, just looking. Today I decided to check Ajegunle. I saw him sitting here and I knew. Even with the dirt and the torn clothes, I knew it was him. He looked at me and his eyes were wet too. He told me about you, about the girl who feeds him every day, who treats him with kindness when everyone else treats him like trash. My throat was tight. I just gave him food. It was nothing. Nothing? Emeka's voice cracked. You've been feeding my father for 6 months. You! He gestured at me, at my thin frame, my worn-out clothes. You look like you can barely feed yourself, but you fed him every single day. I didn't know what to say. Papa Ejike, Mr. Obi, reached for my hand. His grip was weak, but warm. My daughter, he whispered. God bless you. God bless you well. Emeka wiped his eyes. Please, come with us to the hospital. We need to get him checked. And I need to talk to you properly. Thank you properly. I wanted to say no. This was too much. Too overwhelming. But Mr. Obi was holding my hand and looking at me with such love that I couldn't refuse. Okay, I whispered. The hospital was like something from a dream. Private room, air conditioning, nurses who smiled instead of sucking their teeth. Mr. Obi was cleaned up, given new clothes, examined by 3 different doctors. I sat in the waiting area, feeling completely out of place in my faded dress and worn slippers. Other people in the hospital were dressed nice, smelling like expensive perfume. I probably smelled like sweat and Lagos dust. Emeka came out of his father's room and sat next to me. The doctors say he's okay. Dehydrated, malnourished, but okay, thanks to you. I shook my head. I didn't do much. Stop. Saying that, his voice was firm. You did everything. Do you know who my father is? Emmanuel Obi. He built one of the largest construction companies in West Africa. He's worth, God, I don't even know how many billions. And when he got sick and disappeared, he ended up in Ajegunle, alone, forgotten. He turned to face me fully. Everyone walked past him. Everyone. But you stopped. Every single day you stopped. Tears were running down my face now. I didn't even know why I was crying. I saw my grandfather in him. My grandfather died because we couldn't afford his medicine. I couldn't save him, but I could give this old man food. That's all. Emeka was quiet for a long moment. What do you do for work? He asked. Call center, and I sell pure water sometimes. Do you like it? I laughed, but it came out bitter. Nobody likes working at a call center, but it pays my rent. Barely. What would you do if you could do anything? The question caught me off guard. Nobody had ever asked me that before. I don't know. Maybe go back to school. I dropped out when my parents died. I wanted to study nursing. He nodded slowly. Okay. Okay, what? He stood up. Come on, let's go see my father. Mr. Obi looked completely different clean. His hair was white and neatly combed. His face without the dot was kind and gentle. He was sitting up in bed, looking around like he was trying to remember where he was. When he saw me, his face broke into a huge smile. Adana, my daughter. I rushed to his side. Papa, how are you feeling? Better. So much better. He grabbed my hand again. Because of you. Emeka stood at the foot of the bed. Papa, do you remember now? Remember who you are? Mr. Obi's face scrunched up in concentration. I remember some things. My company, my house, but there's still fog in my head. The doctor said the memories will come back slowly, Emeka said. What matters is you're safe now. Mr. Obi squeezed my hand. This girl saved me. I know, Papa, I know. Mr. Obi turned to his son. Emeka, you must reward her. Properly, not just talk. Real reward. Papa, it's okay, I said quickly. I don't need... No. Mr. Obi's voice was surprisingly strong. You need, I see. You're suffering. Working hard, not eating. I see everything. He looked at Emeka. Give her a job. Good job. In the company. Emeka smiled. Already planned it, Papa? I nearly fell off my chair. What? No, I can't. Why not? Emeka asked. You're smart, hardworking, kind. That's exactly what we need. We have an HR training program. Full salary, benefits, and we'll pay for you to finish your degree. This had to be a dream. Or a prank. Or I was dead and this was heaven. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Mr. Obi urged. Please, make an old man happy. I looked between them, father and son, both looking at me with such hope. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I'll say yes. I thought that was the end of the story. New job, new life, fade to black, happy ending. I was so wrong. Emeka had asked me not to tell anyone the full story yet. He wanted to sort out some family things first, he said. His mother and siblings needed to be told properly. I agreed. So I went to work at the call center like normal, served my notice, told them I got a better opportunity. My co-workers were happy for me. Blessing hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. I knew something good would happen to you, she said. You're too kind for God to ignore. If only she knew. On my last day at the call center, Emeka called me. Adana, there's going to be a press conference tomorrow. My father wants to go public with his story, and he wants you there. My stomach dropped. Press conference? Like on TV? Yes. He wants the country to know what you did. He wants to honor you publicly. Emeka, I know it's scary, but my father insists. He says Nigeria needs to see that kindness still exists, that good people still exist. I wanted to say no. I wanted to hide. But Mr. Obi had been so good to me. How could I refuse? Okay, I said, I'll be there. The press conference was at the Obi family house in Ikoyi. House was the wrong word. It was a mansion. Gates that opened automatically. A driveway longer than my entire street. Gardens that looked like something from a magazine. I felt sick. Emeka met me at the door. He was in a suit now, looking every inch the billionaire's son. I was in the nicest dress I owned. A simple blue dress from Balogun Market that I'd bought 3 years ago. You look great, he said. I didn't believe him. Inside, the house was full of people. Journalists with cameras and microphones. People in expensive clothes talking in clusters. Security men watching everything. And there, in the center, sitting in a big chair like a king, was Mr. Obi. He was wearing traditional attire, a beautiful agbada that probably cost more than I'd earn in a year. His eyes were clearer now, more focused. When he saw me, he stood up. The entire room went quiet. Adana, he called out, my daughter, come. Every eye turned to me. I felt like I was going to faint, but I walked forward. Mr. Obi took my hand and turned to face the cameras. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, he began. Thank you for coming. I asked you here today to introduce you to someone very special. This young woman, Adana, saved my life. The cameras started flashing. Questions started flying. Mr. Obi, can you explain what exactly happened? How did she save? He held up his hand. Silence fell immediately. 6 months ago, I disappeared. My mind was sick. Dementia, the doctors call it. I wandered away from my home and ended up in Ajegunle. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. I was just an old man on the street. His voice cracked a little. People walked past me like I was garbage. Some insulted me. Some spat near me. I was hungry, confused, scared. But every evening, this girl, he squeezed my hand. This beautiful, kind girl brought me food. Not once, not twice, for 6 months. The room was completely silent now. She was struggling herself. I could see it. Thin, tired. But she shared what little she had. She treated me with dignity when everyone else treated me like dirt. She saved me, not just physically. She saved my humanity. I was crying. I couldn't help it. So today I want to announce something. He turned to me. Adana, you showed me that kindness still exists, that good people still exist, and I want to reward that properly. Oh God, what was he about to do? Effective immediately, I'm making you a director in Obi Construction Company. Full salary, benefits, and a signing bonus of 50 million naira. The room exploded. Journalists were shouting questions. Cameras were flashing like crazy. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. 50 million naira. 50 million naira. Additionally, Mr. Obi continued, his voice rising above the noise. I'm setting up a foundation in your name. The Adana Foundation for Elderly Care will provide food, shelter, and medical care for homeless elderly people across Nigeria, and you will run it. I collapsed, not dramatically. My legs just gave up. Emeka caught me before I hit the floor. I've got you, he whispered. Breathe. Just breathe. But I couldn't breathe. This was insane. This was impossible. Things like this didn't happen to people like me. Mr. Obi was still talking to the press, explaining his vision for the foundation, but I couldn't hear anything. The world was spinning. Emeka helped me to a chair in a quiet corner. Water, he called out, and someone brought a bottle. I drank, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I can't. Emeka, this is too much. He crouched in front of me. No, it's not enough. You gave everything when you had nothing. My father wants to give you everything now that he has it back. But I don't deserve. Stop. His voice was firm but kind. You deserve this and more. Accept it, please. I looked into his eyes. They were warm, honest, kind, like his father's. Okay, I whispered. The next day I woke up to my phone ringing non-stop. Calls from numbers I didn't recognize. WhatsApp messages flooding in. Facebook friend requests from people I'd never met. I checked Twitter. Asa Adana of Lagos was trending. Number 1 in Nigeria. Number 15 worldwide. My hand started shaking again as I read the tweets. This is the most beautiful story I've ever heard. Adana of Lagos. Faith in humanity restored. That girl deserves everything. Adana of Lagos. From call center to company director. God is real. Adana of Lagos. But then I scrolled further. 50 million for giving someone rice? This is suspicious. Adana of Lagos. She probably knew who he was all along. This is a setup. Adana of Lagos. Poor old man being manipulated by a gold digger. Adana of Lagos. My stomach turned. I kept scrolling. The negative tweets were multiplying. People were making up stories, saying I must have planned the whole thing, that I was a con artist, that I seduced Emeka, that the whole family was being scammed. Someone had found my Facebook profile and posted screenshots of my photos, analyzing everything. My dress, my hair, my friends. Look at her friends. All Raz. She's definitely a scammer. She's not even that pretty. The son must be under juju. I heard she's from Ajigunle. You know those Ajigunle girls, always looking for rich men. I felt sick. Actually sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. There was a knock on my door. Adana, it's me, Blessing. I opened the door. Blessing rushed in and hugged me. I saw the news. Oh my God, I can't believe it, sir. You're famous. I'm not famous, I said weakly. I'm a joke, a trending topic. People think I'm a scammer. Forget those people. They're just jealous. You did something good and you're being rewarded. That's all. But I couldn't forget. All day the messages kept coming. Some supportive, many hateful. Emeka called me in the evening. Adana, I'm so sorry. I didn't think people would react this way. It's okay, I lied. It's not okay. People are saying terrible things. My PR team wants to release a statement. But I wanted to ask you first. Do you want us to address the rumors? I thought about it. Responding would just give the trolls more attention. Ignoring them would make it look like I was hiding something. I don't know, Emeka. I wish I'd said no to the press conference. Don't say that. My father wanted to honor you. You deserve to be honored. Do I? Maybe I should have just stayed anonymous. Maybe I should have just taken the job quietly and... Adana. His voice was firm. You didn't do anything wrong. You helped my father. That's it. People are going to talk regardless. But the truth is the truth. He was right, but it didn't make it easier. The controversy got worse before it got better. A blog published an investigation claiming I was a professional scammer who targeted rich old men. They'd somehow found out about my late rent payments and made it sound like I was desperate and calculating. Another blog claimed I was dating Emeka and had seduced him into convincing his father to give me money. A prophet from some church declared on TV that I'd used witchcraft. I stopped leaving my room, stopped checking my phone, stopped eating again. Then Mr. Obi did something I'll never forget. He went on live TV, prime time, Channels TV, and he told the entire country off. I am Emmanuel Obi, he said, looking directly into the camera. And I am not senile. I am not under juju. I am a man who knows exactly what I'm doing. The interviewer tried to interrupt, but he kept talking. For 6 months, I was nobody. Just an old man on the street. And the only person who treated me like a human being was Adana. Not because she knew who I was. She didn't. But because she has a good heart. His voice rose. Now Nigerians, the same people who would have walked past me, who would have insulted me, are questioning why I'm rewarding her. Are you people okay? Is your brain functioning? I gasped. Mr. Obi was usually so gentle, but now he was angry, properly angry. The girl gave me food when she was starving herself. I saw her. She would bring me rice and go home and eat gari, because she gave me a portion. And you people have the audacity to call her a scammer? He pointed at the camera. Shame on you. Shame on everyone questioning her character. Adana is a better person than any of you. And if I want to give her 50 million, 50 billion, or my entire fortune, that's my business, not yours. He stood up. This interview is over. And to those writing nonsense on social media, may God forgive you, because I won't. He walked off set. The video went viral immediately. Obi defends Adana trended for 3 days straight. Public opinion shifted. Slowly, then all at once. People started sharing their own stories of helping others. Pastors preached about me in church. Musicians wrote songs. Artists drew pictures. I became a symbol for kindness in a cynical world. It was overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying, all at once. 2 months later, the Adana Foundation launched officially. We'd converted 3 buildings in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt into centers for elderly care. We provided food, shelter, medical care, and dignity to hundreds of old people who'd been forgotten by their families and society. On opening day, I stood in front of the cameras again. But this time, I wasn't scared. I looked at the crowd. Journalists, donors, volunteers, and dozens of elderly people we'd already helped, and I spoke from my heart. I'm not special, I said. I just did what anyone should do. I saw someone suffering and I helped. That's it. That's all. I took a breath. But I've learned something these past few months. Kindness isn't weakness. Generosity isn't stupidity. And good deeds aren't publicity stunts. Sometimes when you help someone, you're not just saving them. You're saving yourself too. I looked at Mr. Obi, who was sitting in the front row, smiling with tears in his eyes. Papa Ejike, Mr. Obi, saved me just as much as I saved him. He reminded me that humanity still exists, that good things can happen to good people, not because of juju or manipulation or luck, but because God sees, God knows, and God rewards. The crowd erupted in applause. After the ceremony, Emeka found me. That was beautiful, he said. I meant every word. We walked through the facility together, watching volunteers serve food to the elderly residents. One old woman grabbed my hand and blessed me. Another told me I reminded her of her daughter. You know, Emeka said quietly, when we found my father that day, I thought the miracle was finding him alive, but the real miracle was finding you. I looked at him, really looked at him. His kind eyes, his gentle smile. What do you mean? I mean, you changed my family, changed me. Before this, I was just a rich kid coasting through life. Now I'm actually doing something meaningful because of you. My heart did a little flip. Emeka, I'm not trying to make things weird, he said quickly. I just wanted you to know. You're special, Adana. Really special. He walked away before I could respond. I stood there, watching him go, feeling something warm blooming in my chest. Maybe this story wasn't over yet. 6 months later, epilogue. I'm writing this from my new apartment in Lekki. Yes, Lekki. The same Lekki where I used to sell pure water in traffic, staring at the big houses and wondering what it felt like to live in one. Now I know. It feels surreal. The Adana Foundation is thriving. We've expanded to 12 cities across Nigeria. We've helped over 2,000 elderly people. We've reunited hundreds with their families. We've buried those who had no one to bury them with dignity and love. Mr. Obi's memory is almost fully back now. He's returned to running his company, but he's different, softer, kinder. He treats his employees better, donates more to charity, spends more time with family. He calls me his daughter now, not just casually, officially. He introduced me to his other children. 3 of them, all lovely, all welcoming, and told them I was part of the family now, and Emeka. Well, Emeka and I are taking things slow, very slow, but we're taking them. He's teaching me about business. I'm teaching him about humility. We laugh together, pray together, dream together. I don't know where it's going, but I know it feels right. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that evening 6 months ago when I divided my rice in half, when I chose to give instead of keep, when I chose compassion over comfort. I think about how close I came to walking past Mr. Obi that first day, how I almost talked myself out of it, how I almost said, let someone else help him. I have my own problems. But I didn't. And that choice, that one small choice, changed everything. People ask me all the time, Adana, what's your secret? How did you get so blessed? I don't have a complicated answer. I just say, I fed a hungry man. That's all. I fed a hungry man. Because sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change your life. Sometimes what you give away is exactly what comes back to you. Multiplied, overflowing, pressed down, shaken together, running over, just like God promised. Thank you for reading. Please like, subscribe, and share this story. And remember, never underestimate the power of a simple act of kindness. You never know whose life you might change, or how yours might be changed in return. God bless you all.